Hi friends, welcome to the Anime Book Club podcast. I'm your host, DJ Montague.
And I'm your host, Greg. And here we review anime from classics to brand new stuff, hidden gems, and controversial favorites.
You'll hear all of our hot takes, rants,
and genius observations. So thanks for tuning in, and buckle up because the episode starts now.
By the way, friends, these episodes contain spoilers, so be careful and don't ruin this anime for yourself. You've been warned. Hi friends, welcome to the Anime Book Club podcast. I am your co-host DJ Montague.
And I am your dual class monk, cleric, Greg Big Dumb Diesel. And Bard.
Dude, why would you add Bard? You're splitting your stats up a little too much, I feel like. You got the riz of the Bard.
Play the music for the people.
Yeah, you got, wait, so you went, well, cleric counts because wisdom. Monk also uses wisdom. We're on track for a really good episode already, friend. Thank you for being here. We appreciate you. Today, we're going to get into episode 4 of Ubel Blatt, of Zenshu, of Ishura, and episode 4 of Solo Leveling. Greg, what a week of anime it's been, dude.
Yeah, I mean, I think the highlight is Jinwoo walking through the mines like Zoolander.
Yeah, 100%. Blue stealing fucking everybody.
And smelling good while doing it.
Dude, smelling delicious. That's technically episode 5, by the way. The smell part.
He smells like shit.
He smells like shit.
Yeah. Forget I said that.
No. He smells super good. He smells like a pop star. That's what I imagine pop stars smell like. Unless you're like, I don't know, maybe Jack Black probably doesn't smell very nice. I don't know.
Or like Jelly Roll.
Oh, Jelly Roll probably smells like farts. Constantly. Anyway, he's not a listener. We're fine, dude. It's fine. It's fine.
He could be.
It's fine. It's fine. How's everything going in the other anime realms? Obviously, we're on the Ubel Blatsky and stuff like that, but how are you? How's your other anime endeavors?
Sakamoto Days is fun. I like Sakamoto Days. All the other ones, I still don't like Guild Receptionist. Mm-hmm. They finally revealed kind of the deeper plot, and it's still not good enough, and it's too late. Because you can't just wait like halfway through the season to basically be like, okay, we'll start the plot now, I guess. All the characters are not my style, but yeah, I mean, I would have to say the highlights for all of the extra credit anime is Bihaneko, dude. Sakamoto Days, Bihaneko, and one that isn't on the list, the hidden extra credit. 100 Girlfriends.
You keep saying it's just the best.
I think it's one of those good palate cleansers where it doesn't take anything seriously. Mm-hmm. The comedy in it, I think, is pretty funny. They take all of the tropes and then make them super ridiculous. I'm having a good time with the secret extra credit.
I'm glad you're enjoying it. My extra credit was watching another show called Plebs, and it's really funny, and I highly recommend it. It's a live action normal show, but it's like a English humor show. You check that out. Anyways, friends, let's get down to business here. Let's get down to brass tacks. Ubel Blatt isn't going to bash itself. We're going Ubel Blatt, then Zenshu, then Ishura, then Solo Leveling. Greg, before we begin the spoiler portion, how are you feeling high level about Ubel Blatsky?
Potholes everywhere. Apparently everyone in this land is deaf and blind, probably mute at the same time.
And dumb.
So many things are off with Ubel Blatt.
I'm glad the anime has fumbled the bag so fucking bad. Because like I said, every time something bad happens in the anime, I tell Greg, and I'll be like, dude, that is like, the reason that happens is because they fucking cover it. And literally 10 chapters earlier, why did they fucking just skip it? Why did that happen? It's frustrating for me to watch Ubel Blatt after enjoying the manga. Even the animation, like, it's not the worst thing in the world. Obviously, we watched Ragnar Crimson, and so I know what the worst animation could possibly be. But it's not stupendous. The keyframes in the manga are beautiful. And then this is just like, Raspberry Jam, the show.
It's pretty mid for being, I guess, this hyped up.
Yeah, it's sad, dude. It feels like they gave it to the wrong studio.
Well, let's go. All right, everybody, here we go.
Let it rip.
Episode 4 of Ubel Blatt picks up where we left off on episode 3. And Coinzel is just slashing up some bandits. And Coinzel says to the main bandit, the one that originally had the crest, he's like, oh, didn't you say Landgrave Demwallick would show up and save you? And then the bandit holds up the crest, and Coinzel just cuts it in half. He's like, fuck your crest. And he cuts off his right hand as well. So now bandit leader has no crest, no right hand. And the bandit leader tells Garanpen to do something about Coinzel. And instead, Garanpen wants to know why a crest was entrusted to a bandit such as himself.
Okay, so in the show, Garanpen has had like 4 scenes now. 2 of the scenes are him being really kind to children, and like what seems like he's really like the buff guy that's really in tune with his own feelings. What it feels like a Armstrong from Full Metal, but like they don't give him the screen time to be cool.
Actually, I want to know more about Garanpen.
Yeah, but he's awkward. He's like silly, but it's weird because he just seems like he's working for that military. We're all on the same page that military is the evil characters. And then you've got this guy who just seems like he could be cool, and he seems like he could get along with people, and he's like in it for the right reasons, but also like you're not giving him credence to actually grow that part where he's like saving people. And it just seems like he's like, okay, those guys are bandits. Why are they cool? Why are they over there? And then like go to the next thing. It feels so fast.
Speaking of fast, purple hair dude walks in.
Fargo.
And no one is paying attention to the cut up bodies or anything that they just fucking saw. And everyone says, oh shit, it's Chiliarch Fargo.
Yeah.
And Garanpen yells, big bro.
Mm-hmm.
The bandit runs to Fargo for safety. And then Fargo glows purple. And Coinzel feels his power. And then he slashes the bandit. After he slashes the bandit is like, how could you do this to me? Then he's like, you're dead. And then he stabs him in the neck. And now he's dead.
Dude, he gets fucking riggedy rolled when he's running at Fargo and then falls to the ground and then has like an exposition.
Yeah. Like, look at this. That's like, I don't know, 3 gallons of blood. That guy's like straight up dead. But before he dies, he has to crawl to Fargo's feet and be like, what are you doing? And then Fargo's just like, stab. And now he's dead.
Yeah.
And then he looks at Garanpen and he's like, don't call me big bro in public. That's only for when we're together privately. I think it's what it said.
100% what that translated to. As a person that also speaks Japanese, you are exactly right, Greg.
Yep. So Fargo picks up the crest and says, oh, this was a sword I had commissioned, but then it was stolen, and tells Coinzel he had some pretty sweet swordsmanship. Everyone is like, Coinzel, you're the coolest. And then Weed is like, wait a minute, where's Sharon? And Fargo says, oh, Sharon? Yeah, you know what? I'll arrange a meeting with you and Sharon, and we work to secure those with special powers from the borderlands. So Fargo knows something about this.
Yeah.
And he's like, yep, come to my place.
Come hang out with me later tonight. Call me big bro while you're at it too.
Yes. He says he can't release her, and for Weed to see him at the mayor's manor. And he's Fargo, and he will neither run nor hide.
Of course.
And then he walks away into the sunset.
Running and hiding.
Weed tells Ott that they can see Sharon. And PP is like, well, tomorrow I guess we're all parting ways. Garanpen and Zeffy go and get the girls that were kidnapped by the bandits. I feel like they had to like wrap up this loose end. So they just like had, I don't know, 5 seconds of scene of them saving the girls, and then Garanpen being like, oh, I'm big and scary with my face tattoos, but no, don't be scared of me.
It's super weird because this is what pisses me off about the pacing of the show. This all happens pretty quickly when you first meet him, that he like kind of understands that there are other people that need to be saved. This isn't the present time. I guess it is now in the anime, but it feels different in the manga. It just feels weird. It feels super weird in the manga.
And they do this a couple times in the episode. It almost feels like the scenes are out of order.
Yeah, 100%. That's what it is.
So, okay. They save the girls. Hilarity ensues. Garanpen, what a silly guy.
Tee. Also, again,
Yeah.
this is why it's so weird. Somebody has talked shit to this guy, called him Octopus Head, and like him approaching these women. And don't be afraid, I'm not a bad guy. Who gives a shit what you say? You have to show us that he's not a bad guy. And this is what I have a problem with Garampen, is that like they don't show him being like a good dude.
Well, I mean, he was protecting the kids.
Sure, but does he actually action fight somebody?
He punched some bandits, yeah.
Oh yeah, he punched a hole in a dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, you're right. Right. Maybe I'm mistaken.
Altia and Coinzel go into a tent alone.
To bang.
She says she will also be parting ways with the smugglers tomorrow in some weird one last bang style scene, is my note. We have two scenes. One in the very beginning where Altia and Coinzel go into her bedroom in the tavern and have this weird, like, sit on my bed. Yeah. And then this one is like, oh, let's go into this tent by ourselves and get like really close and have this weird body language thing going on. On to the next scene.
Yeah. And we out. Just so everyone's aware, in the manga, they bang. Again.
Yeah, so they did it in the beginning, and then now they did it now, but they didn't show it. Yeah. So now you're just left with this weird, like, awkward scene. Like, do you just...
We didn't need the scene.
It's not even necessary because you're not really building anything else on top of...
Also, you could have just, like, had them talk like adults.
Weed and Ott go to the mayor's manor at night, and then all the bandits that were killed earlier are there. And Weed wonders, I thought Coinzel killed these guys. And then he's like, is this some sort of necromancy? And then we have Fargo looking from the second story window of the manor down at Weed and Ott. The bandits attack, and they're just cutting up bandits. But then some weird tendril magic is putting them back together. And they say it's a magic from Weistek, Land of Shadows. And they're now mutating into weird monster things or something.
When Ott does like that fucking spinning lariat with her big ass two-handed sword, and she's like, Weed, get down! And then she like chops the 5 dudes in half, that was okay. Because it actually doesn't look terrible.
No, it was okay. It reminded me of like Braveheart.
There's like a movie magic thing happening here as well. Because like the characters aren't moving very much. And the way that they drew it was not in CG, which is great. But it's like the way they layered the page, like it's such a weird way to animate it, but it looks correct.
Fargo is still watching from above, and he's like, well, they're probably going to die. And then he has a flashback to Garampen and Zephy bringing the girls back, saying they're safe. And Garampen saying that he couldn't believe the bandits had a crest like that. Back to the present, Fargo is mad because those girls were perfect specimens, and he had to let them go. And is now mad at Zephy. And then he goes full tuxedo mask, pulls his cape, whips out his mask, and puts it on. Zephy is sleeping at the refugee tent camp with his parents. And his parents are like, man, can't wait to head out tomorrow. Coinzel walks out of his Altia tent and sees the dual full moons. And then he gets like purple butterfly wings.
Zephy's parents were definitely 2 days from retirement.
Yeah, Zephy's parents are like, man, I can't wait to start a new life with my son and my people. Like, tomorrow, not today. We'll get there someday. And it's like, yep, okay, obviously they're going to die.
They're so dead.
Pee-Pee is just wandering around at night for no reason in the encampment.
She can't sleep. She's like, I wonder if Zephy's awake. I'm sure he's totally going to be just fine. Him and his parents.
Yeah. So Pee-Pee's walking around wondering where everyone is and thinking about how nice Zephy's parents were for giving her her clothes.
Best. So nice all the time.
Fargo walks into Zephy's tent with his sword out.
Hell yeah.
And Zephy's parents wake up and Pee-Pee is outside the tent. And then she sees like 3/4 of a fucking bloody sword shoot out the wall of the tent. And Fargo is killing Zephy's parents. And Pee-Pee is standing there like, I wonder what's going on in there. It's crazy. I can't tell from this fucking giant sword that's sticking out of the wall of the tent. But then I also said, Zephy and his parents are sleeping in the middle of the tent.
Mm-hmm.
But then his sword is sticking out of the wall of the tent. So I don't know. Like, I said he was Tuxedo Mask, but maybe he's fucking Sephiroth and just descended down with his like 19-foot sword and then killed Zephy's parents, and now it's sticking out the other side of the fucking wall.
Okay. Okay, I have so many questions. First of all, like Greg and I talked about this because like the way I explain it, because it doesn't make sense. They don't show him walking to the side of the tent. They don't show the dad or the mom like backing up. You just see Pee standing and she's like, can't wait to see my friend's parents that are going to take care of me. Oh my God, there's a sword.
She didn't even say that. She was just like, oh man, they must be having a great time in there. I wonder what's going on. Completely unfazed at this point. But Zeffy is literally sleeping through all of this. So his parents are dying.
Murdered.
And he's still asleep.
Above him, nap time.
Fargo busts out of the tent, like fighting Zeffy's dad. So he is covering his mouth. He has a sword. Zeffy's dad is doing his best to like fend off the assailant.
Yeah.
And then Pee is just like, holy shit. And then she just starts running away.
Dude, this is in the middle of a refugee tent. Like in encampment. There's like 50 fucking tents around. And this dude is just like, yeah, I came in for these people right dead center. Everybody's screaming. Pee-Pee's screaming. Zeffy fucking sleeping like it's paradise on earth. He's having the best sleep he's ever had. They don't cast a spell on him. They don't make him stay asleep. He is just fucking napping hard.
Zeffy's dad, fighting off Fargo the assailant, rips off his tuxedo mask eye covering. Pee sees it's Fargo, and they're like, holy shit, I had no idea it was fucking Fargo. Even Zeffy's dad is like, oh, fuck. Like,
it's a purple hair?
Fargo. Like, oh, how did I not see it? And then he just gets shanked.
Yeah.
And then Pee she stifles a scream. So even though she was already screaming and running away, she sees that it's Fargo and then covers her mouth and then screams again. So I'm like, cool. Makes sense so far. But then Coinzel can hear it. So he didn't hear her normal scream. He didn't hear the commotion.
He felt her soul scream.
He felt her sorrow. And then he has like a little exposition where he's like, it's almost like he's a Jedi, where he's like, I sense a disturbance in the
Dude,
Force.
he really is. He's like, did anybody see my beautiful butterfly wings? Like, I'm really upset right now. Somebody's soul cried out. The moons are beautiful. I've been crying for 45 minutes and nobody's told me. Please help me.
So anyway, Weed and Ott, they're in trouble as the monsters. They got their hands on them now. But then Ott is like, man, this shit's taken a really long time to get here. And then her wolf mount swoops down and cleaves with its claws the monsters, and then Ott jumps on board, tells Weeb to grab onto her. Spike Miro is what she call it. Spike Miro, which is, I guess, the race of mount that this wolf bird is.
I forget, because in the manga they have like excerpts where they talk about like the different mounts and buildings and ships and like give you like understanding of architecture. You get none of that fucking context anymore in the show, but like these wolf mounts are supposed to be like incredibly loyal, whatever. Flying wolves.
Cool. They're riding the mount. Ott throws down an exploding lightning thunder ninja talisman at the remaining zombie army, which she could have done before, but that's fine. Save it for when you fly away.
They have so many more.
And then Grandpan wakes up in his nightgown and is like, I wonder what's happening.
Yeah, because now we're into a comedy.
Pee, armed with a piece of wood, tells him to stay away from Zeffy. Pee is like, you said you would help us. I can't believe you're doing this. As they're in the middle of all the tents and no one can hear. Then Fargo has this stupid face and he's like, it's all a lie. He must be evil because of he's lying in its face. And he's like, you're so dumb because you didn't suspect a thing. And Pee is like, oh, I can't believe this. This is crazy. And then she charges him with her broken 2x4. And then he just field goal kicks her over to Zeffy and says, you know what? I won't use my swords to kill Zeffy. Check this out. I'll use his parents. And then he uses his necro magic and then turns Zeffy's parents into a combined zombie spider monster.
Okay, I have so many questions, but the most important question I have is why does everybody's like power come out of their gauntlet
Yes.
It's super strange to me. I even asked this reading the manga because I understand you have to have something cool happen. Oh, grow wings or something like out of your
transformation.
Yeah. But and like so far we've seen a lot of Coinzel summon those swords that look like they're attached to hair almost. Because literally his hair, he has long hair and he has the swords attached to the bottom of the hair. This is the whole thing that bugs me. Is like, it doesn't have to come out of the gauntlet. You have differences in fabric on your actual arm. Like you're wearing a cloak. It doesn't really matter, but it's just weird that it's the gauntlet specifically.
Zephy is still fucking asleep. He wakes up for a second, rubs his eyes, and then Spider Zombie Parent Monster just literally drop kicks him from across the room.
Here's what's also so frustrating is that like you have this fucking zombie thing that's intent on killing people. It wouldn't just slap you across the room. It would just turn that arm a little bit and cut you in half across the room.
Probably Zephy's parents being like, no, my son, I can't kill him. I'll just,
Shut
hit
up,
him with
Greg.
the blunt edge of my sword. And then the fucking zombie parent monster goes to attack Pee-Pee. But then Coinzel comes in the nick of time and Pee-Pee is like, look at this. Look, his parents are a monster. He's so evil. Yeah. Coinzel, do you see this? Look. Dual full moons make Coinzel grow his dick swords out of his left gauntlet.
Okay.
And then he's like, I'm sorry, Pee-Pee's parents. Please forgive me. And then he just cuts up Pee-Pee's parents, or Zephy's parents, sorry. Now they're dead.
Yeah.
Fargo is like, no, don't touch me, Coinzel. Don't touch me like that. And then he stabs Fargo's right arm off.
I have a question, because I have the panel that this was drawn from. So when you see this, you only see it for a fraction of a second. It is pretty fast, but it's supposed to be the impactfulness of like him being almost dismembered. And it's so raspberry, strawberry, red fluid. Everything's crazy. His fingers are cut off, like everything, whatever. So I have the panel right here that this is based on. So you can kind of see it's a little bit less bloody gruesome, but more in that moment, you can see that horror of Fargo losing his arm, being chopped the fuck up. And then in this one, Fargo looks like he's drunk as tits and he's like, dude, who fell on my arm? What happened? It really took me out of it because like it's the eyebrow movement. It's just something so simple to me.
So his right arm gets stabbed off, but then we get a flashback / not flashback of Ott and Weed flying overhead before Coinzel kills Zephy's parents and cuts off Fargo's arm. So we saw the scene with Zephy's parents. Coinzel kills them. Coinzel then cuts off Fargo's arm. And then Ott and Weed fly overhead.
Yes.
And that hasn't happened yet. This was a thing where I watched it and I'm like, did you just not order the scenes correctly? Like, did you forget to put this before the other scene? So super jarring in terms of the consistency of the scenes.
Weird pacing, weird tempo.
But Fargo is like, Coinzel, you suck. And Coinzel is like, you killed the weak and used cursed magic and then forced me to kill the people that you cursed. And evil Fargo is like, so what, bitch? I'm evil.
Right.
Coinzel says this was the place where soldiers fought when he was Ashert, and it's a good, nice place, and you're doing evil, bad stuff, evil man Fargo. The villagers come in, and they're like, oh, look, misunderstanding. Coinzel must be the monster, and Fargo is being attacked by him. Look at these deformed Zephy parents. This must be Coinzel's doing.
Of course.
Yep. Let's push the story forward, guys. The villagers basically save Fargo because Coinzel is going to kill a bunch of villagers. And then Ott comes down and is like, Coinzel, grab on. And he grabs her. They start flying away. His dick swords disintegrate.
They literally disintegrate, which was weird as well.
First off, they escape and then they land in a fucking forest somewhere. And then he tells Ott that she can't kill him yet because he's got stuff to do.
This is so weird because like their whole relationship is talked about in the manga. There are like 7 chapters dedicated to these two meeting before they're in that town in the beginning of the show. This is what's frustrating, is that why are they trying so hard now to keep to the storyline when you just skipped like 16 things? You skipped 16 chapters to get to the part where PP and Coinzel and Weed meet each other. Why? What was the point of that?
It's like they gave the manga to, I don't know, some kids, and they're like, hey, you have to edit out all the bad stuff. So the kids literally were just like, highlight, delete, and then they just condensed the rest and made an anime out of it.
Yeah, it's very strange to me.
PP is still in the encampment, and she goes to the mayor and tells the mayor that Fargo's the one that killed Zeffy's parents, not Coinzel. And he's like, nope, can't believe it. Fargo's a good guy. PP runs out of the tent, and Grand Pen is looming ominously. I don't know if anything's going to happen with that. I don't know why that scene was there. Back with Ott and Coinzel. Coinzel is like, you want some of that young revenge? And she's like, no, I took my pain out on you. Coinzel, I'm sorry. Can you ever forgive me? Is there anything I can do to make you forgive me? And that's it. That's basically that's your episode 4.
And then they do a hug.
Yeah, he pats her head.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool guy Coinzel. You were literally just crying to the moons about how there was so much sorrow like 30 seconds ago, and you're like, no, I'm the big cool guy now. Don't worry, smaller human being than me. I'll pat you on the head.
Yeah, it's very, I don't enjoy it. I don't enjoy the way that this is paced. I don't enjoy the literal missing parts. If I didn't know, like, would I care? I would still feel like the pacing is weird, but now it makes me more mad.
I haven't read the manga.
Right.
And after 4 episodes, not knowing any of that information, I am watching this and I'm like, I feel like there's scenes missing. Like there's scenes that feel like lead up to other scenes, but then those scenes just aren't there.
Yeah. This whole thing with Ott and her brother, we've never met her brother. I know his name. Like, I think they've said his name in the anime.
Lord Krot.
Yeah. But it's also like, do you know why Coinzel killed him? Because he did kill him. Like,
she does kind of say it in this scene where she's like, oh, I know you had to kill him. She made it seem like something was wrong or he was possessed or
yes, but it's like
right?
This alluding to something that you could have shown us. There's not even like a flashback scene where he's like all like fucking crazy, like undead guy. There's nothing. There's literally, you have not seen it, and it's frustrating as fuck. It's super frustrating because they show in the fucking intro a part of why he kills Krot. And it's like, are we gonna get there?
Because last episode, Ott was intent on killing Coinzel. And then now we have a completely like about 180 of like, you're the best human being alive.
Yeah.
So yeah, there you go.
Just so everybody is aware, in the manga, they talked about this a little bit, where they kind of went into the creation of Ott as a character. Ott was supposed to be the main character of a storyline. I don't know if this turned out to be a completely different, way bigger thing of what Ubel Blatt became to be. But like, Ott was supposed to be a main character, and Asherit or Coinzel wasn't. I don't know if they meant that the storyline was supposed to revolve around Ott, or that Ott is like, it weird. Also,
let's go. I was going to say, let's go ahead and pull an Ubel Blatt and just jarringly move to the next anime.
Yeah, exactly. All right. High level. Zenshu. Where are we at, Greg? Episode 4.
What I suspected from episode 3, that Void attacked and everyone's like, oh, what's going on here? And then Memelin's just like, oh, I was like, oh, Memelin probably had something to do with it. And now we get the story of Memelin and what she feels, I guess.
The thing that she draws is the best character I've ever seen in any anime ever. It fucking killed me. It was.
I don't know. Okay. Yeah,
I was not ready for it. I was fucking dying laughing.
We'll talk about it because I had issues with it.
I'm sure it's not like it's fucking smart. It's dumb as shit. And I really enjoyed it. But what was that movie? Beer Fest? Or what was the one they did? Super Troopers. It's like that to me. It was like a Super Troopers moment where it's just like the stupidest fucking thing that could happen. happened, and then now we get to watch it. All right, Zenshu, let's get into spoily time. Spoily time, friends.
Episode 4, Luke is cooking and Natsuko is drawing Memlin.
Mm-hmm.
And Luke says that someone let the void into the festival and someone casted transformation magic on it to make it look like the priests. Yunio is there and he's like, there's a traitor among them. And Luke asks Natsuko if she saw anything about this in the movie. Natsuko was drawing, so she kind of jumps because she already had her suspicions of Memlin. And then Memlin walks in and says, hey, choir practice again, boys. See you later. And Natsuko is like, oh, okay. It's a nice day to go for a walk. And then she leaves as well. And now Luke is suspicious too. So Natsuko is following Memlin and has a little monologue about the movie and said that mages used transformation magic on a void and led them to the soul future. So she kind of knew that part happened in the movie. And she did say it in episode 3, but she said it happened sooner than expected.
Yes. The timeline is jumping forward quite a bit because of her involvement.
So this is continuing with her monologue. Luke saw through the spell, but then the ultimate void appeared. And then Luke defeated the ultimate void apparition, but it turned out to be Memlin. But they never got to see what she was trying to do in the movie. So in the movie, Natsuko is saying that Luke killed Memlin. Natsuko says that her being in a choir was never mentioned in the character sheet either. So maybe it's connected. So she's kind of still following Memlin, hiding behind shit. And then they are at the little graveyard thing. And then Luke pops up.
She's a detective.
And she's like, oh, shit. But then she's like, okay. In the movie, Memlin let the void in. But no one knows why. So she did know that Memlin did this and is now telling Luke.
Or like technically turned into the void, right? Because she might have let the void in, but like when they show it, it's the ultimate void, and then he like chops down the ultimate void, and Memlin is in the water dead.
I think she wasn't really the ultimate void. She just used kind of the transformation magic to become what looks like the ultimate void. She says that she's trying to find out why Memlin is trying to let voids in and why she transformed into the appearance of the ultimate void.
Mm-hmm.
Luke says Memlin has been fighting with them to protect Last Town like forever. And that's why Natsuko says there must be a reason why she's doing this. They get to the cemetery, but Memlin and the other choir chicks are nowhere to be found. And Natsuko sees the statue of the hero that protects Last Town. Luke senses that there's a fake door, and then he cuts it down, and they can hear singing. And Luke is like, see, look, they're just practicing. No need to worry.
Hell yeah. Just practicing in English, too.
But they walk into the fake door in the statue, and they basically just see, like, skulls and bones and shit everywhere. So it's kind of ominous. And then they go down farther in, and it's literally an entire cult. And they are just singing how they hate tomorrow and when will the hell end and chanting for it to end already.
And headbanging.
And Natsuko was like, this shit wasn't in the movie.
Yeah, that was kind of sick, though.
But Memlin is the head cultist. And Memlin says that the summoning that they just tried was incorrect. And maybe they do need the void to eat the soul future for the ultimate void to appear.
This is weird.
During this whole quote-unquote choir practice, they're trying to summon the ultimate void using like rituals, but nothing is ever working. The plan is exposed of Memlin trying to bring the void into Last Town.
So they're doing this whole ritual. They have like all these people have gathered to do this. There's nobody knows, and now we are let in on the secret that Memlin is trying to do whatever with the ultimate void. Why doesn't it work now as opposed to later on when it does? There's no difference in ritual other than she says, oh, we'll have to use this other thing as a last resort. What does this other thing mean?
I think that other ritual is when Memlin turns into the ultimate.
Yeah, but like the ritual doesn't change. They still fucking headbang and walk around in a circle, and like they're making a sweet mosh pit.
One of the cultists is like, maybe we should do We should do that ritual.
Yeah. Maybe we do the circle thing, but we like alternate head banging. And
Yeah. Memlin says that ritual is a last resort, and they shouldn't do it yet. Then they pray to the ultimate void. So they're openly worshiping the ultimate void at this point.
Yeah.
Luke tries to call to Memlin, and then Natsuko stops him, and they go outside and is like, you just planning to just go in there and fucking kill everyone? Like, what's your plan here?
Sick plan.
And then Yunio flies over in his unicorn form, and it's like, what the fuck are you guys doing here?
Catchphrase time.
And Luke tries to tell Yunio about Memlin, and then Natsuko stops him and is like, if you tell that guy, he's just going to spread this rumor and everyone is going to panic.
He's literally going to unicorn gallop over the entire town, wake everybody up in his unicorn form and be like, do you guys want to ride on my back? Oh, by the way, Memlin's evil as shit.
Yunio said that he heard that choir practices around here and he wanted to hear the choir. They then say, let's go get milk beer. And Yunio is like, oh shit, no, are you sure? They all get drunk. Yunio is passed out from milk beering too hard.
Yep.
And then Luke and Natsuko are talking, and Luke says he'll do something about Memlin. And then Natsuko then kind of has like a little flashback and recalls in the movie where Luke kills Memlin and tells Luke that, no, you can't, don't do anything.
Mm-hmm.
She says that he should stay away from her because he might kill her.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, you're an idiot. And then Natsuko said, he'll do something about it, so don't worry, I'll take care of it. Since I've seen the movie 1,000,000 times, and I know all of the character sheets. Luke says he knows Memlin way better than her. And Natsuko is like, oh yeah, is that so?
You have to explain. He grabs her face and it turns into a chibi anime. And it's all cutesy, and like Yunio and Memlin and QJ are like little chibi heads around them. Obviously, the stream can see the screenshot that I have for this. But he's like, I know Memlin way fucking better than you. Don't you fucking dare lie to me. I know this shit like the back of my hand. And then she's like, excuse me, do you know her real name, you little bitch? And he's like, yeah, of course I know her real name. I've been friends with her for fucking 80 years. And then she's like, all right, what's her real name then, bitch? What is it? What is it? And then he says, Memlin the Third. And she's like, no, you fucking idiot. It's not Memlin the Third. It's Meln. And then the show ended right there.
But he's like, nah, I'm the hero and I'm going to do something about it. And she's like, all right, let's see what you got, bitch. So then the next day, Luke makes Memlin a cake. And she's like, all right. And then she's eating the cake. And then he tries to talk about the weather. And Memlin is like, cool story.
Yeah.
Yum, yum, yum. Eat cake. He brings up the choir and asks her how it's going and that she's been practicing a lot lately and asks what kind of songs do they sing. And she's like, oh, you know, regular songs.
We sing a lot of Katy Perry renditions as opposed to the Taylor Swift song they were actually singing.
Yeah, she was actually singing I Want to Be Ninja. But Luke is trying to beat around the bush and Natsuko butts in and she's like, dude, I can't fucking take this anymore. And then she just straight up asks her why she's trying to summon the ultimate void.
Yeah.
Memlin says she just wants it all to end. And elves live very long lives, and she's seen many generations. And they always repeat the same conflicts, and she will continue her life living and losing friends along the way for all of eternity. She's basically like, I live forever. You guys don't live forever. You guys die. I see you make mistakes and it's annoying as fuck and I just want to die.
My whole thing is humans are a prime example. If you have intelligence, you have the understanding, you have like consciousness, so to speak, and you live for long amounts of time, you will become the ruling class, right? It feels almost inevitable. If you have communication and you have consciousness. Dogs live short amounts of time. They don't have like full consciousness. Humans in this world are more akin to dogs than they are akin to elves. And I would assume if you had any brain matter as a human, you'd be like, okay, that guy lived for like 6,000 years. Let's listen to what he said and like kind of, you know, go a little bit more along with that rather than.
Oh, I'm going to bring Freerin into this example.
Okay.
And it's basically the same thing because in Frieren lives like she's an elf, so she's lived for like thousands of years.
Yeah.
But she basically said in the anime that because humans live such short lives, they learn and do things faster because they have less amount of time.
Yeah.
So Frieren is this 1,000-year-old elf mage that you would think would be like the most powerful mage ever. But human mages are overtaking her because of how fast they learn and how fast they educate each other through the generations.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, I see what you're saying in terms of if you were just alive for forever.
Yeah, but that's the difference between like politics and skill. Like, you can understand history and like be an influence on history rather than like, oh, my ability to throw this fireball is pretty sick. And then these other guys are like, well, we all figured out a way. There was 16 of us. We had like a workshop. It was pretty sick. You should have been there. We learned how to throw this fireball way better. 200% increase in stocks. And then that was some human shit, right? And then they left. That is the difference. And so I feel like when you're looking at intelligence and like it's different from learned experience.
I see what you're saying. But at the same time, that learned experience is being filtered through a single person.
Right.
You are intaking all of this knowledge. You're applying your own unconscious brain filter onto the knowledge that's coming in. Mm. So with the human example, that knowledge is being passed down and it's being passed through generations of mind filters. Even though, yeah, I mean, Memlin has issues. Okay. We'll just go with that.
Okay. It's just always my frustration when elves exist that like, how are they not literally, it's always so weird.
I think Frieren explains it really well because yes, the elves live long lives, but the elf population
they have a tough time procreating.
Yeah. Compared to humans. Even though, yes, they have all of this knowledge, if they just die, if Memlin dies to the void, like she fights the void and then she dies, all of that knowledge is just gone.
But that's the whole point, is that like she doesn't have to. She could just be a beacon of knowledge and be like, okay, in history, this is what happened. You guys, just so you're aware, you don't fight. Don't fucking do that. Like, we have to do this the right way. And then it's just like, nah, I'm gonna take the lazy approach and watch all my friends die.
That's her point, is that she has been alive for a long time and then she keeps seeing like the same repeat mistakes. So she's just like, I'm sick of it. I just want to die.
Okay.
Which isn't really the correct mindset of someone that has that long life, which is why Memlin has some issues that she's got to address, and we'll wait till the end and she gets her issues addressed. So anyway,
totally.
Natsuko says that Memlin is being selfish. And this wasn't the Memlin that she loved. And Memlin is like, you don't know me? Catch me outside. How about that? And then she leaves.
Mm-hmm.
So Luke starts tearing at the corners of his eyes and says it must be so hard for Memlin being alive for so long and being alone for so long.
Mm-hmm.
And then Unio walks in and is like, what the fuck is going on right now? Why is Luke
Did you make my dad cry?
But then it cuts to Memlin walking through the city at night, all hooded up, and she's just hearing the banter of the townsfolk saying that the soul future looks bigger and brighter, and it's all thanks to the 9 heroes. She has a smirk on her face, but then goes to choir practice. She meets up with her choir people, and they just start singing I Hate Tomorrow's song, and tomorrow sucks. Luke makes up a plan to save Memlin, and it's for Natsuko to use her summoning to create the ultimate void. And then the ultimate void is like, no, don't die, live. And everyone listens because they worship the ultimate void, and everyone lives happily ever after. That's Luke's plan. So Natsuko just starts laughing and is like, you are so bad at drawing. Your shit stick figures are so fucking bad. I'm a professional artist. I'm going to laugh at you because you're so bad at art.
This is, I mean, he tried. And go Luke for trying, okay?
So Natsuko and Luke walk off to the cemetery, and Unio sees them and thinks something is up. Natsuko draws the ultimate void. Like, she's just sitting on like a monastery, not monastery. What do they call in a cemetery where you bury all of the same people
Mausoleum.
Together? mausoleum. So Natsuko's sitting on the steps of a mausoleum and drawing the ultimate void. And Luca's like, damn, dude, that's way better than I can draw. And Natsuko is like, no, it's not good enough. They see Memlin in the choir group, so they hide. And Natsuko said that her peg bar has only lit up when there have been void around. So she wonders if she can draw. And Luke says, if it doesn't work, no problem. They can just come back tomorrow. The choir goes into the hideout. One of the other girls notices Natsuko and Luke and just is kind of like, yeah, bitch. And then that's pretty much it.
Yeah.
So they go inside and Luke says he'll blend in with the choir and incite them as Natsuko summons her ultimate void. So Luke goes down there, puts up his hood, but something is up. And they all start singing their crazy song. And Luke is just standing there because he obviously doesn't know the words. And then they transform Memlin into the ultimate void. And Natsuko realizes that in the movie, if that was a void ritual, then Memlin was trying to kill Luke for real from the beginning. And Luke is going to kill Memlin. Natsuko's peg bar starts glowing. And she said she can't draw the ultimate void since it will just rile up the cultists more. And she needs to draw something that will make Memlin's heart skip a beat.
Dude, and this is where the episode goes from a 5 to a fucking 55 out of 10, okay? We get the best character in anime history created right before our eyes. Natsuko decides to draw the most beautiful man in world history. We have a moment of the headbanging cultists around Luke. Luke is like looking left and right. He's like, dude, I'm going to die here. Like, this is crazy. Memlin is transformed into this giant ultimate void, has the Memlin void hand up, is going to kill Luke with whatever void energy is going on. Luke's fucking cultist hood down too far. He like lifts the hood up and he's like looking to the side. He's like, dude, what's going on? And then she gets it. And then she's like, I'm going to draw. Here it is. And she draws, I am the ultimate exister, Sir Exister. What the fuck did we just do? Okay. We created so many, like this floor must be like a fucking ocean for how many wet panties just hit this fucking floor. Okay. From this dude alone.
Men and women panties.
Dude, everybody's draws just juiced. You know what I'm saying? Like sopping, as they say. And then we get a fucking dance number in this bitch, dude. I am so in at this point. This song fucking rules, first of all. This fucking dude is just throwing roses at fucking everybody. Everybody's catching these. Look at him. He's like, I'm so beautiful. Check this shit out. And then this guy gets a rose. And he's fucking standing there and he's like, oh, dude, that was fucking sick, dude. And then Memlin, he grabs her and he's like, hey, dude, do you want to dance? And she's like, I guess I could go for a dance. And then they start in unison singing the lyrics together. And she gets a whole new dress. And then they're dancing and singing, choreographed like this is fucking Final Fantasy VII Remake. And it's just a beautiful, beautiful time. And then they get the fucking moon, the moonlight above. They dance into the moonlight. It is an incredible experience for everyone.
Yep, that's pretty much it. She draws an anime music video and they sing some Disney princess song and then Memlin becomes a princess.
If you don't, I don't know how many of you guys watch this show or you just come here to watch us rant about these fucking shows, but I 100% want you to go just watch this scene. It is beautiful. It is the best scene of this anime so far. 100%.
Natsuko gives her drawing of the Prince J-pop Ultimate Exister idol to Memlin and says it will last for eternity. And then Natsuko passes out. After Natsuko wakes up, Memlin says that everyone in the choir is obsessed with the Ultimate Exister. Natsuko says that he's part of the Uta Men idol group, and it was the first show Natsuko was an animator on.
Dude, Uta Man, obviously a banger. Memlin being a new like stan for Sir Exister. Also, she says that she asks Memlin early in the episode, she's like, when did you become an ultimate void stan? Like literally. And then she's like, what the fuck is a stan? And then now she's like, I have become a fangirl of Sir Exister for all eternity. Thank you for that. That was pretty sick.
And Memlin's happy now. Now that she has the ultimate Exister to look forward to, all is right in the world.
Yeah.
Cuts to Yunio and Luke in the garden. And Yunio is like, man, why didn't you guys tell me any of this shit? I thought you and Natsuko were fucking hooking up. And Luke is like, no, what are you, crazy, Yunio? You crazy unicorn guy? This is silly. Hilarity ensues. Episode ends.
Wait, we get the clock-wearing ass fucking penguin motherfucking bird looking dude at the very end.
I have my theory on the bird. But yeah, basically the solution to Memlin's problem is to save her with song and dance and happiness. And yeah, apparently everyone's sold. So like all it took was a J-pop idol to literally turn every single cultist, not even just Memlin, like literally all of the cultists from bad to good.
Yeah. All of them were like, God damn, did you see that guy? I'm moist.
The theory on the bird. And in episode 5, we'll talk about this because the bird does kind of make a short cameo. I think that the bird is actually the original artist of Tales of Perishing. So you know how when she was, I think episode 3? Yeah, episode 2 or 3. When, I think it was 2 maybe. When Natsuko went into like the Nine Soldiers Tavern and it was like, can't wait to eat all you can eat.
Yeah.
Food and drink.
And
Naomi?
then the bartender, was it Naomi?
Yeah, Naomi, the bartender, she was like, oh, I think, this is the president from the company. She somehow got in the anime because she used to work as an animator a long time ago or something.
Yeah.
My theory is that this bird is the original Tales of Perishing author. And the Tales of Perishing author basically has a chip on her shoulder because everyone called her anime shit because she didn't understand it. And it's alluded in episode 5 that Natsuko is, she's running around basically saving everyone as part of the Nine Soldiers, right? Mm-hmm. And the bird is like, what you're doing isn't going to change the outcome. Ooh. So to me, I think that the bird is the original artist that is basically like, no one loved my anime. Nothing you're going to do is going to change how people see what my anime is. Everyone already said it was a gigantic flop and it sucks ass. It'll forever be ass suck anime.
Okay, I like it. Did you know that the original mangaka of Akira hated his movie after they made it into a movie? So I get it. Like, there are a lot of dissenting opinions when mediums are transitioned. And I think that this could have, maybe we can go back to having like this discussion rather about the world of Tales of Perishing, which we shouldn't really give a shit about because like, what is this show really about? It's about an imagination station. Back to things that are grounded in real thought process of like how we feel about the real world. Like, hey, this person is changing this medium potentially for the worse. And like, imagine if someone was like, yeah, we actually expanded on Princess Mononoke and like, it's now a 12 episode show and we added in all these extra things. It's like, does it detract from the medium? Does it detract from like the impact that it had? Does it amplify? Does it make it any better? Does it make it worse? Are we Ubel blotting?
At the core, they are like, they're dancing around that idea of the whole animator thing, like working themselves to the bone, creating something they love, but then other people don't love it. The concept that I originally thought was going to be at the forefront of this anime.
Me too.
I think they still have the idea of that stuff in here, and who knows, like maybe...
we're 1/3 of the way through the season.
Yeah, in 8 episodes, they're just going to pull the cover off of this thing, and it's going to blow us all away. We're along for the ride.
Yeah. Anyways, onward to Ishura in a ride that Greg hates. He's along for it, but this ride sucks and it's bumpy and it's rickety. And Greg's just like, I can't wait for me to get off this thing. I swear to God, I'll burn it to the ground if I have a chance.
Well, I don't know if it's that extreme, but it is kind of a ride you're on. And I'm just like, why am I here again?
You're in the teacups, and they keep saying, all right, guys, these teacups, they're about to spin out of fucking control. Are you ready? And Greg's just like going around at like 3 miles an hour in a circle. He's like, okay, do these amp up? And they're like, guys, are you fucking ready? It's about to get so crazy. And they keep doing that, and you're just sitting there like, I fucking hate these teacups, and I hate this guy that's like trying to hype up the teacups.
I forgot I was in a teacup.
What was the ride at the carnival or the circus or whatever? That like it was the gravity one where it spins around really fast and you can like you sit up against the wall.
I think it's just called the Gravitron.
The Gravitron. Okay, yeah. So there was always like whenever the circus or whenever the carnival came to town and you had the Gravitron, there was always the person that was like, dude, did you hear about it last year? Some dude like stood up sideways and he was just fucking whipping around and everyone's like on their backs and he had like the strength to stand up. You ever hear that story?
I think I saw some Instagram reels about that where like people were just doing backflips while the thing's like spinning or something like that. And I'm just like, all right, I mean,
that's crazy. But that's literally the story of Ishura, the Gravitron story. Everybody hears that it's going to get sick as fuck. And it, like some dude's going to get really cool. And it's just, you get in the Gravitron and you're like, I just watch people throw up. Anyways, let's get into it.
Episode 4 of season 2 of Ishura. We are at Togi City's first highwayman checkpoint. Torara the Awful just walks up in his full Grim Reaper attire.
Dude, he looks so fucking dumb in the daylight.
Completely out of place.
He's like 8 people in a trench coat.
And the guard stops him and he's like, hey, what are you doing here? And Torara says he heard General Gilness is looking for soldiers and he wants to sign up. The guard isn't buying it. And he's like, do you have a cover letter, resume, past employment experience? But he's like, no, I don't. And he's like, okay, well, get out of here.
Yeah. He's like, what about my swords? Do these have any? And he's like, no, we can't do anything about swords.
Torara asks if he can make an exception. And the guard's like, no. And then the merchant kid from the last episode rolls up in his carriage and says to let him in. I don't know his name. They didn't say it.
I think they did.
I don't think so, because I would have written it down.
I'm going to find it out.
Merchant kid from the beginning of episode 3 says that Torara is here on his recommendation. He calls Torara Elgit and says he will escort him into town, which is weird because Elgit was the bandit that he gave the pistol to that died to Torara. So I don't know why he called him that. But Torara asks why he's helping him. And Merchant Kid says, nah, you helping me. They get in the carriage and Torara asks if he's a general of some sort. And the kid is like, no, I just have some dealings with the Old Kingdom loyalists. And then he says, of course he knows Torara, the Awful, and said, I thought you were dead. The Merchant Kid asks what business Torara has joining the army, since there isn't anything for him to gain. And Torara says, Alice the Star Runner is in Arietta and wants to fight him to recover his luminous blade. Merchant Kid says he'll be glad to help him enlist, but he can't guarantee where he will be stationed, so he might not be in Arietta at all. Torara is like, oh damn, I didn't think this through at all. So I won't be able to fight Alice the Star Runner? And the kid is like, yes, if you don't enlist, you may never find where the blasting blade
I'm
is.
blasting.
Torara is surprised he knows of the cursed sword, but says that it's well known that General Gilness has had it, but it is no longer here. Torara is confused, just like me, because he thinks Merchant Kid is allied with the Old Kingdom. But Merchant Kid says he sells them stuff, but isn't a loyalist, and is more interested in allying with Torara. Torara asks how he knew he would be at the gates, and he assumed the bandits, and Merchant Kid says yes. And he planned it, but he thought that Torara was dead.
Everybody assumes Torara is dead.
He's like, no harm, no foul. I tried to steal your sword. Sorry, but to be fair, I thought you were dead.
There's 2 other characters at this point.
Yeah, they said their names in episode 3.
Of It's the guy with the purple hair?
Yeah, they said his name.
What was his name?
Well, can't you read it right there?
No, Greg. My Japanese is. I was joking earlier.
It's Ta Yo.
Okay.
But they introduced him. He was sitting at the table at the end of the last episode. Obviously, this is farther in the episode now. We're not at this part.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, he does make his cameo, basically. And he's hanging out with another kid, the white-haired little kid, at that point.
Okay.
But they were both at that like secret meeting that the guy that was taken over by the vampire, Anu, was at. So yes, those two characters, their names were introduced in the last episode.
Okay, go ahead.
Merchant Kid says, it's my turn for questions, and asks how he killed all the enchanted sword wielders. And Torora is like, hey. And then he asks Torora the Awful, is the legend really just one person? And Torora says, yes. There's some weird monster thing lurking in the swamps. So, okay. It is weird, right? Because Torora's asking all these questions. Merchant Kid answers. Merchant Kid asks him, how do you get all the swords? He's just kind of like, bah. And then he's like, well, let me ask you a different question. Is Torora the Awful one person? And as we saw in the last episode,
it's different people.
It was his dad before, and now it's him. And this basically has just been passed down from generation to generation.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess there's like lying going on, I guess. I don't know.
Espionage. I don't know.
But Torora doesn't seem like the guy that would do espionage. So maybe in his heart of hearts, yes, since it's passed down from generation, it's always been one person.
Dude, it makes no sense.
They went through this whole carriage conversation shit for like literally almost half the episode.
By the way, I did not take screenshots of I took screenshots, but it the first 4 screenshots I have are the first 15 minutes of the episode. There's nothing that happens.
It doesn't matter. So I don't know. While I was watching this, I was like, okay, this stuff is happening. As I'm explaining it, it's just as uninteresting as it sounds me explaining it. Like, it's literally boring as fuck at this point.
There's a whole heaping hello to nothing. And it's the episode is called Toroa versus Kizuyuna and versus the Particle Storm or something like that. Part 1. And it's like, that doesn't happen until the last 2 seconds. Fuck you. Like, this should be called, haha, espionage plus Particle Storm shows up at the end.
Yeah, it's okay. Let's get through this.
Rip it.
Shit, right?
Yeah.
So, okay, Torora's like, okay, no deal. I can't spend my time killing strangers. I might as well just give away my swords at that point. Boring as fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Torora's like, okay, negotiations have fallen through. I'll just get off of the carriage right here. Merchant Kid asks, do you have any other employment opportunities? And he's like, nope. I just want to find Alice the Starrunner. Merchant Kid says, okay, Blasting Blade has been stolen, and that's the reason why the security is so tight. Torora asks, who has the blade now? And Merchant Kid says it's Kiazuna the Axle, a self-proclaimed demon king, and said he can tell you where you went. And just so everyone knows, Kiazuna is the old person that created Mistel Exel the Gundam from last episode, if you forgot, because this is boring. Torora asks why he's helping, and Merchant Kid says, I'm just good at my job. When I like something, I like it, and here I am because I like you, Torora the Awful. You were my soulmate.
Yep. Best friends
we're
forever.
fucking done with that. That was half the episode. Cut to the southern Aratea Gunmana trading post, and Mijaru, who is the little kid with the blonde hair, at the Aratea meeting with Anu in episode 2, talking about the particle storm with Kaon, and apparently they're here to provide some sort of evacuation support. Mijaru asks why they have so many soldiers. Kaon says they plan on taking over the area. They want to evacuate the residents, so it's not dangerous. This is supposed to be some secret fucking espionage bullshit.
We're cooing, dude.
Kaon says, according to Jelki, who is the dude with the glasses that was at the meeting in episode 2, says the particle storm will deviate east after passing Gunmana, and then it's going to pass through the Sine Riverstead, then go around the mountain range and come to Aratea. Kuro and Kune are hiding on top of a building, listening to all this, and they have their own espionage thing they're conducting. Kuro tells Kune his eyes aren't what they used to be, and he used to be able to see with his eyes closed, and now he's missing parts of the world. I'm at 2 days from retirement.
2 days from retirement.
Kuro says Aratea plans to eliminate the particle storm, and Kune should escape while she can, since he has a bad feeling about this, meaning everyone's going to fucking die. Kune is like, no, Kuro, I can't live without you. I might as well be dead if you're dead, and let's just die together. Kuro's like, fine, whatever. What do you want for your reward? And she's like, let's talk about it later. Kuro thinks to himself, he's afraid of dying and he's afraid of killing, so why is he still fighting? We're done, okay? Cuts to the observation point, west longitude, section 163. And
this is
four
really
dudes
important.
are just walking around, and they're like, didn't there used to be a fucking hill here? It seems a particle storm passed through. And then it says, 1 day until Calamity arrives. Thank you. It's almost here. I feel like Memlin, just fucking make it all end. Cuts to Dumana Ravine, and Kiyazuna is driving a tank while Mistel Exel is swinging around the blasting blade on the back of the truck. And Mistel Exel says, fuck it, this is the best time of my life. Fucking fun as
Mistel
fuck.
Exel, literal child in Gundam, like a literal child soul in a Gundam, just constantly laughing and being a little asshole.
They are heading towards a particle storm because Kiyazuna has a fucking score to settle with the particle storm, okay?
Okay,
and
but
he calls the tank golem they're driving Chariot, and that's one of Mistel Exel's siblings.
okay, so real quick, Kiyazuna is just an old idiot, but they worked for a country. Potentially we're supposed to have a clan and have like thousands of these golems, and Mistel Exel was like, I would have had thousands of brothers, that'd have been sick, dude, we should do a flip. That's literally Mistel Exel's whole feeling this whole time. And they're driving through this ravine, and like rocks are falling, and Mistel Exel's just like, fucking swing this sword, this shit is tight as fuck. Like, that's literally the episode. It's the episode. The particle storm is coming. Kyuzun is like, we have to defeat the particle storm. It ruined my life 20 years ago when I was a wee lad. They say that like Kyuzun is also like 80 years old, by the way, which is great. And then Taroa the Awful makes his wonderful appearance. Why? Because the sword. Because he found the sword. How did he find the sword?
He took it from General Gilness and then blew him up with it.
But they said that the sword was stolen, and now like it's on the way to do what? Kill the particle storm? Why did Taroa know it was going to kill the particle storm?
Well, because Merchant Kid told him, and fuck. Okay, Kuro is watching them and reporting the information.
Yeah.
And Kune is like, hey, isn't that Taroa the Awful? And Kuro said, that guy's fucking dead.
Yep.
But he's here, so if he's a revenant, he wouldn't have a heartbeat. But then he fucking clairvoyances, and he's like, nope, there it is. His heart's right in his chest where it fucking belongs. Aurora attacks, upends the fucking chariot, and then he fights Mistel Exel and uses Vajir, the frost venom blade crystals.
Why did you write that down?
Because I write down all of his swords, okay? And
Greg's like, I'm really interested in these enchanted swords.
And then he attacks what he thinks the core of the golem should be, but he's confused because there is none. Mistel Exel asks about Tarora's mom, and Tarora is like, what the fuck are you talking about?
And Greg was like, what the fuck are you talking about?
Mistel Exel throws their crystallized arm at Tarora to try and transfer the frost venom crystals to Tarora.
Mistel Exel summons a stinger missile. The missile goes up in the air and then like down back to Taroa.
And then Tarora uses the fire sword to throw off its heat-seeking sensors, and he's like, damn, glad that worked, I guess.
He literally says that.
And then the particle storm is drawing closer. Kiyazuna whips out a Tommy gun and he's just shooting Tarora. And then she's like, oh, how did you track the particle storm? And then the particle storm goes up, disintegrates a fucking mountain. And then Kiyazuna is like, it's been 84 years, particle storm, and turns into Rose from the Titanic. And then the storm talks back and says, oh, people know about me? And then it says, Calamity arrived. We're fucking done, dude. That's the episode. Fuck. Okay. We made it. We made it, dude. Like the literal episode, I can't talk, I can't think, dude.
The Storm's like, you guys know my name?
Oh.
And then like the silhouette of the Storm. I didn't want to fucking it's so stupid. It's really dumb. It's really not great. All right. Okay. So all right. My opinion about Ishura is it's jumping what little shark it had. There's like no fucking sense.
Yeah.
I'm having fun watching it because it's dumb. But it's not like it. Yeah, it's Record of Ragnarok all over the place. That's kind of what's been going on with Ishura. I was laughing. We have 2 days from retirement, Calamity arriving. And Greg, next episode, they're going to fight the Particle Storm that we've been hearing so much about. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think they're going to defeat the Particle Storm? Do you think that the team up is going to be super sick of Taroa and the Gundam, Mr. Lexel? Do you think they're going to have a 3-way fight?
Kuro's going to use his clairvoyance. He's going to shoot its crossbow like right into the 9th vertebrae of the particle storm. But then Kune's going to be like, watch out, get down, Mr. President. And then Kune's going to die. And then Kuro's like, no, you said you wanted your reward. And then Kune's going to be like, my reward is for you to be happy, Kuro.
You are on fucking point right now. You are gaming. I'm almost 100% sure this is what happens. I haven't read the manga, by the way. I'm just assuming. But also, I just assume at one point in the episode, the Particle Storm is going to rip apart both Taroa and Mistel Exel. And the only person that lives is Kuro, potentially. And then he's going to die, like, walking back to the camp by, like, a random scorpion that he didn't see. Because his clairvoyance is done.
Can we move on? Can we go to solo leveling?
Does it stress you out? Does Ishura just make you angry?
I'm like sweating. It's making me mad. Like, I wasn't that mad watching the episode, but like reading through it, I'm like, what the fuck is happening?
How are you feeling about solo leveling, Greg? High level, what's going on?
I don't know, dude. Just they might as well do the Jinwoo fashion show already.
It's really weird. Like we're getting into the situation where a lot of what this season of what we've chosen, like we just came off that super high of like everybody loves Dan to Dan. It was really good. Pacing was great. Storyline's good. Love story's great. We're enjoying everything. Greg's fucking 100% in. And now we're making him watch Ishura and solo leveling back to back. Like,
I mean, solo leveling's not bad.
It's not bad, but it's not exactly like fucking a masterpiece recreated. It's just like, we're watching this guy be so fucking cool all the time. Like, he's so cool.
Like, the animation is great. Out of everything I've watched this season, the animation on this is like 10 out of 10. The animation's great. But in terms of story and stuff, I guess I don't watch it for that anymore. Like, season 1, I watched it because I was like, okay, I'm seeing the transformation of this character. Now it's, I don't know. Let's just get into it.
Okay. Let's let it rip, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah. Here we go. Episode 4 of Solo Level. Jinwoo emerges from the Demon City Gate, and he says he needs purified Demon King blood to finish off the Elixir of Life, and he needs to be fully prepared, and his level has significantly increased since he came out. He says he's still an E-rank hunter, but it's time to quit playing around and get his level reassessed.
Yeah, he's like, I don't want to fuck about no more because I obviously am way cooler than everybody else. And I need to make that Skrilla. And the only way to make that Skrilla is if I get reassessed and everybody knows how cool I am and throws money at me.
I don't get it.
What?
Like, you're beating these dungeons. You're mining like C-rank gates with Jinho.
He's not legally allowed to go into a higher like B or A rank to really flex his muscles yet.
But I just think he's able to afford a red fucking Jeep Wrangler Unlimited.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later in the episode because he does some other stuff which I question. But Jinwoo rolls up to the White Tiger Guild.
Yep.
And Hyun, who is the assistant to An, who is the scout guy, he sees Jinwoo walk in and immediately calls and says that Jinwoo is here to reassess his rank.
It's a little freak out moment. And he's like, yo, I know that dude. That's Jin motherfucker Woo. Let's call up Bake on the telephone. Get down here, bro.
Jinwoo is just chilling, and a couple other hunters are talking, and one is reassuring the other hunter that the test is easy and don't worry about it. And the guy says he needs to earn money by becoming a hunter so he can be with his wife and his kid who left him. So this guy is a loser, apparently. He says that as long as you are an E rank, someone will recruit you and you can make money. And Jinwoo is like, those were the days. Good old E rank hunter days.
First of all, these are regular human beings that are going through trials and tribulations, and we're minimizing this dude and his shitty life that he has so hard because Jinwoo's a pop star sitting next to him. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, this dude is going through it right now. His wife left him. His kids fucking hate him. He doesn't know what rank hunter he is. He's freaking the fuck out. He has no money. And if he doesn't get a D or above, which obviously he has zero main character qualities, this dude's E rank as fuck. And Jinwoo's just like, I remember the days when I was a fucking wuss. Look at me now. And then he puts his dick on the table and everyone's like,
oh, damn.
Wow, that's a really cool dick.
Jinwoo walks in for his assessment and he puts his hand onto the sphere.
Dick on the table.
The lady's like, well, that's weird. Try it again. And Jinwoo's like, error. And then the director walks in. He's like, hey, what's going on in here? You're not meeting your quota for assessing hunters. And she's like, oh, man, well, it's just not reading.
The machine's broken.
He's like, wait a minute.
This guy's dick's too big.
It just can't read his rank because he's so powerful.
Yeah.
He is the country's 10th S-rank hunter. It cuts to Jin Chil and Jong In talking about the winged ants outside by some vending machine.
Mm-hmm.
And Jong In tells him he heard about the Red Gate incident. Jin Chil said he was there, but didn't stay until the end, so he doesn't have any details. And then there is a commotion, and Jin Chil says it's probably the awakened ones getting their power reassessed, and he'll go check it out. And then Jong In says, you know what? I'm going to go too.
I heard some dope shit was happening down there. I'm going to go.
The director guy who looked at the machine is talking to Jinwoo, and Hyun is like, I got to talk to this fool and recruit him. And then Jong In walks in, and Jinwoo immediately detected his presence and says he is the pinnacle of fire mages, and he is known as the ultimate hunter.
And the reason why he has his shitty nickname was because Jong In was so good. Obviously, Jinwoo, being the pop star that he is like, wow, your group was so sick back in the day, but it's time for me to go solo. And then he like wafts his hair and then walks past him.
That's exactly what happened.
Yeah.
Because as Jong In walks in, he's like, hey, you want to join? And Jinwoo just walks right past him. And he's like, yeah, I got a meeting or something.
You smell like shit. You look stupid. Your rings are dumb. You're ugly as fuck. Your matching hair and suit is stupid. I'm fucking out. And Jong In's just standing there like, did I say something wrong? Did I not tell him who I was? Because I'm that motherfucker, right? Like, we talked about this. All Korea knows who I am.
Jinwoo walks right past him. And he's like, I'm just too busy for your shit. And then walks out. So Jinwoo's gone. And then Bake comes running in full speed. And Jong In is like, oh, he probably wants to recruit that guy too. Cuts to Jinwoo at the hospital. He's hanging out with his mom. And he mentions it looks like she could wake up at any moment. He said, I'll be back soon. He walks out of the hospital room. And Jin Chul is there and says that the surveillance division is the only one that can monitor and control hunters. Jinwoo's like, cool story, bro. And starts to walk away.
Yeah. And he's like, well, I mean, there's not a whole lot we can really do about watching you. But yeah, we are.
But he walks away, and then Jin Chul says someone wants to meet him. And then walks in president of the Hunters Guild Association, Go Gun Hee. They sit and talk, and Go Gun Hee says that reassessment is useless after a certain point, and he is also now trying to recruit Jinwoo. And he says he can give him the highest position possible. He says the government doesn't support the country now. And it's the hunters. And at the center are the 5 guilds. And the guilds are barely maintaining balance. But as soon as Jinwoo joins one of them, then the balance will be all messed up. And the Hunters Association must become the 6th power.
Questions. Important question. All right. We know of 6 right now of the S rank hunters. Jinwoo is the 10th. Chehae-in is the 9th. Baek, Jong-in, Go Gung-hae. And then Dong-su, who's in America, right? The balance, I don't know if you guys know this, but like numbers wise, doesn't make any fucking sense anyway. Gung-hae is the leader of the Hunters Association, which basically works for the Korean government and helps control the power of other guilds, of the guilds in general. It's supposed to be like the guilds talk to them, but now the guilds are so powerful, they've almost superseded the government. Everybody goes to them. But there's one S rank in the Hunters Association. Assuming there's one S rank in every single other guild, you would have an incorrect amount of numbers. Because Baek, White Tigers. Jong-in with the Hunters Guild. Also, Chehae-in is in the Hunters Guild. So that's 2. So that's 3 accounted for in 2 guilds. And then 4th being the Hunters Association. Dong-su, who lives in America. There's 3 other guilds that aren't accounted for. We don't know how many S ranks they have. But numbers wise, it just doesn't make any fucking sense. And it's already tilting my tits off. It did this in the manga when I read it, or the manhwa when I read it as well. I got upset.
But Go Gun-hae says that someday, and then he trails off. And I assume he meant that he's going to die or retire someday. And
he's 2 days from retirement.
Jinwoo thinks about it and says that it would be a crazy rise in infamy. And that Go Gun-hae is a strong hunter and was the country's first S rank. And his physique isn't someone that is 80 years old.
He's old as shit, but he's buff as fuck.
Jinwoo refuses and says that he longs for battle and he longs for the dungeon. And the dungeon is where he belongs.
Mm-hmm.
And Go Gun-hae, single tear falls from his eye.
He's like, that was sick. I liked the way he said that.
He's like, I haven't felt this feeling in so long.
He literally said, dude, my dick moved a little bit when you said that. That was tight. That was really hot.
Because I assume Go Gun-hae wants to just fight in the dungeon. That's all he wants to do. But now he's the head of the guild and he
can't be in danger. He just wants to punch the shit out of things.
Oh, yeah. He also just has this reoccurring theme of thinking that Jinwoo is doing everything for money.
And also, he's really upset that, like, S-rank healers can't heal aging.
Oh, yeah. He's like, they can't make me younger. Man, these S-rank healers are useless.
Yeah, he's like, oh, man, if I was 10 years, 20 years younger, me and Jinwoo, we would be back-to-back doing dope shit in the dungeon, dude. Naked. I mean, 10 years on and younger, butt naked, back-to-back. Fucking people up in the dungeon.
And he's like, we're going to be the other guys. Jinwoo, aim for the bushes.
Yeah.
Jinwoo leaves, and Go Gun-hae tells Jinchul to cancel all my meetings. Clear my schedule, Jinchul.
I'm going to get drunk.
Yeah, I'm going to go drink. And he's like, Jinchul, you in? He's like, well, I don't drink.
But I guess I'll watch.
I can hang out. He's like, good enough for me. And then he's like,
I wonder if
Jinwoo drinks. Like, I just want to be this guy's friend or dad because I'm 80 years old.
Or boyfriend at this point. Like, dude, he's like, I wonder if he drinks. I wonder if... Dude, if I was 10 years younger, we'd get down in the dungeon.
He's like, Jinwoo probably smells really good.
Yeah.
Jinwoo thinks he's got to keep leveling to save his mom, and he can't stay idle. It cuts to Dong-su, all beat up in the hospital, and then the deputy director walks in, and he's like, what do you want from me? A fucking loser like me. He asks Dong-su if Sung Il-hwan is really a magic beast, and he says he's got to be a beast with the amount of power he has. And the director says, well, we're tracking him, but we can't really do anything because you got beat up, you fucking loser.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Literal, verbatim.
Dong-su has a flashback of getting owned and Mr. Sung telling him to stay away from his family. And he can't even escape via death. And the reason why I think he said that is I assume he's talking about arising, where even if you die, you're going to get arisen and you're going to be a bitch.
Yeah, something like that.
Dong-su knows where he will go, and he wants an artifact so he can beat Mr. Sung. Now, it cuts to Jinwoo, who has an exposition on artifacts.
Shopping on Amazon.
Literally Amazon artifacts. And they are a piece of equipment that even the highest craftsmen can make. And with hunters wanting to be stronger, you can buy them online. And Jinwoo is like, damn, this shit's expensive.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like you should have $1 billion right now, Jinwoo. But anyway, Jinwoo wants to be equipped when going into the Demon City. So he's thinking about selling the Sphere of Avarice since it doubles the amount of magic damage. And it should go for a pretty penny. But since he's an E-rank hunter, people will question where he got it and thinks if he had an excuse of entering an A-rank gate, he can say he got it from there. And then he sees a pop-up ad on his browser because he doesn't use a pop-up blocker.
What an idiot.
Guild hiring for mining. It cuts to Go-Gun-Hei looking at Jinwoo's records and how he looks like a completely different person. And Jin Chul says he's been in and out of hospital and is trying to raise money for his mother's illness and his sister's tuition. Jin Chul says he got a report Jinwoo joined the Hunters Guild raid mission, and Go-Gun-Hei is like, man, all he wants is money. But Jin Chul is like, no, he joined the mining team, you old senile piece of shit.
Mm-hmm.
Jinwoo says that teams are important, and there are combat teams, there are mining teams, recovery teams. Then it cuts to Jong-in literally just incinerating some high-level monsters and stuff.
Dude, blowing them the fuck away.
Hei-in is also there, and he's like, ladies, cover your nose if you don't like the smell of burning. And then she covers her face, because burning.
Mm-hmm.
They come out of the gate, and now it's the mining team's turn. But then Hei-in walks out, and Jinwoo is like, hey, yo, nice aura, girl. She senses his aura, but then Jinwoo disappears. And she said it felt like Go-Gun-Hei's aura.
Mm-hmm.
And then she covers her face again because it smells like burning.
Yeah, it smells like bitch out here.
The mining team goes in. Jinwoo says the A-rank boss in the dungeon feels stronger than Vulcan or Metis from the Demon City.
Mm.
And Jinwoo is just like, I want me some of that A-rank boss.
Just fucking bricked up, dude. He is like, dude, these mining nodes aren't as hard as I am right now.
Some other miner bumps into Jinwoo and is like, hey, yo, E-rank hunter trash, get to work. And then Jinwoo mean mugs him, and he's like, oh, never mind, I'll get to work instead. Don't stab me with that chin and that good smell that comes off your body. Anyway, Jinwoo starts mining with his ripped Korean shoulders and his ripped Korean back. And the rest of the miners are like, damn, look at how fucking ripped he is. Look at that guy fucking go.
Yeah.
And then he walks in there, blue lightning, fucking blue thunder.
Blue steel?
Blue steel, Zoolander into the mine. It's lunchtime. All of the miners are like, hey, yo, it's lunchtime. We got an hour. Let's go eat up. And Jinwoo was like, well, you know what? Like, you guys go ahead. I just want to clear these, mining nodes before I go offline.
I've got so much work to do. I'm packed up
like,
over here.
Respect. Okay. See you later, Jinwoo. And then he, sneaks off.
Yeah. How does he run over to the boss gate with how big of an erection he has for the boss gate? He already destroyed the machine. And like the guy walks in and he's like, dude, this guy's dong is huge.
Well, he had Tank and Iron like haul it over their shoulders as he
like a fucking wheelbarrow.
He says that he can't defeat the boss because the gate will close and the guild will lose a ton of money.
Yeah.
So he just goes to take a peek.
Yeah, he's just like, I'm just look though. Let me just put it in just for a second, just to see how it feels.
He's like, oh, hey boss, like just the tip. Don't worry, I won't make the gate close.
Yeah. It's literally an allegory for sex.
Well, that's what I felt like because he's like, I'm just gonna take a look. He's like, oh, I can't wait to just go in there just a little bit. Like maybe I'll just.
It's 100%.
I'll just take a peek inside.
Yeah.
But then Hei-in rolls in and it's like, hey, what are you doing, good smelling boy? And that's it. That's the episode.
He's like, oh, I've been found out.
Tank and Iron like hiding in the corner with his dong in a wheelbarrow, like pretending not to be seen.
Yeah. That's literally welcome to Soul Leveling, baby. What a show.
Season 2. Here we go.
Yeah. This episode, I felt like half of it was unnecessary. When you're reading a manga, you dictate the pacing on things. There are things you see where it's like, they bring it into the anime and it's totally like exacerbated and elongated into the weirdest way, like to establish scenes.
For what level Jinwoo is, for how many stats he has in like intelligence or whatever, I feel like he probably could have like put some stats in like finance or something, because if he's looking for money, he probably could have gotten it already. Like, I just don't understand why he's like taking this weird roundabout way to get money.
Yeah.
When he can get it right now if he wanted.
Yeah.
But I just assume that would disrupt the flow of the story here. And then we won't get his like love interest in here, who's just like, oh, every time I walk, it just smells like burning unless I'm around you and you're a breath of fresh air. Let me smell that dong that's in the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
This episode was a little bit silly to me because, he goes on like eBay artifacts, Amazon artifacts, and he's like, look at all these guys selling fucking artifacts.
Yeah.
Like, I wish I had those, as he's rolling around with a sphere of avarice that will just literally implode fucking half of Korea or wherever they're at.
He gave the sphere of avarice to Jong-in. Like, he's like, hey, yo, I just give me a couple milli. Like, I need to take care of some stuff. Here's a sphere of avarice. Jong-in would be like, oh my God, I'm literally twice as powerful as I was 10 minutes ago. This is sick, dude. Do you want that penis sucked? Because it looks unsucked.
It's literally like 200% increase in damage.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. And that's why it's playing like directly into the K-pop. I'm the head singer of BTS. I don't even know like K-pop. Like, is it BTS? Is that who they are? Like,
as one of them. He's
the dragon or whatever, right? They're playing way too much into that versus like the intelligence that Jinwoo should have right now of like the workings of the world.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I think I said it last episode. I feel like the other characters like don't matter anymore. I don't care about Hae-in. I just see her as just that's going to probably be his love interest in the future. I don't see her as an S-rank hero. I don't see her as like anything else besides Jinwoo's just going to pick her up because K-pop star.
Here's my thing, and we've talked about it before, and elaborating even more on the thought process of changing a medium or changing an artwork, you lose some semblance of like the identity of what it was, and it's really hard to create something better. When like obviously like Solo Leveling revolutionized the way we looked at Korean manhwa in a global scale. Like, people have been reading manhwa for years, but Solo Leveling was like the first big one on a global scale that like brought it to the forefront. Like, this is a cool storyline. You guys should watch this, right? I want to see more from the other S ranks, but I don't know if we'll ever get that. Do they establish another TV show where they talk about the other S ranks? Like, is the world of Solo Leveling getting expanded even further? Like, we've got the fucking video game, which is diluting the storyline quite a bit with other parts, and like also making alternate universe shit. It's like, dude, like all that's unnecessary, but that's all like, I don't know. That feels worse.
I wouldn't doubt if we got subplots of other characters and stuff, but if they're in the world that we are watching right now, I don't even know how interested I would be in any of those characters, because I already know that Jinwoo is like, he's fucking
Daddy Jin.
The strongest.
Daddy Jin.
Yeah, there's no reason for the other characters to be there.
Yeah, I think it's kind of sad.
It's still fun either way. I'm not hating it. It's not like Ishura or Ubel Blatt or anything like that. Like, I'm still enjoying it, but I do also get that feeling that it could possibly be better than it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
that's what I think.
I agree wholeheartedly. I don't hate Soul Leveling. Jinwoo's pretty zesty, though. Let's be real. He's a zesty boy. Anyways, friends, thank you for hanging out with us today. Much appreciated.
The moral of the story is be patient. Try to understand the situation from other people's perspective. It's easy to let emotion take over and be aggressive or defensive, but try to really put yourself in their shoes and think before you act or say anything. Yeah, the thing is, you don't know what those people have been through that day, you know, for better or for worse, for good or for bad. You don't know their situation. You just see that one glimpse in time of the current situation you're in.
There's a word for that.
What is that?
Sonder. It's like the realization that you're not the main character. You are just a human, and there are 8 billion other humans on this earth that are having their own trials and tribulations, just like you are every fucking day. Don't be a dick.
Yeah. And who knows, like, just talking to them, you'll learn about them, they'll learn about you, and maybe something that originally started as aggressive could end up being something beautiful.
Or maybe something beautiful that started out as something beautiful can turn aggressive real quick. Catch these motherfucking hands.
Oh, damn. Andy's nuts.
Andy's nuts. Friends, thank you so much. We will be back next week. Episode 5 of Zenshu, Ubel Blatt, Ishura, and Solo Leveling. I can't thank you guys enough for hanging out with us. We'll see you soon. Go check us out on anywhere that you could hear a fucking podcast anywhere. YouTube podcast, Spotify, the Anime Book Club podcast. Find it. Go listen.
Goodbye, everybody. See you in the next episode.
Thank you, friends, for checking out the Anime Book Club podcast. We hope you enjoyed the episode.
And if you don't want to miss the next one, follow us on the socials where we announce new episodes, content, and other cool stuff. You can also check out our anime list with our rankings and follow along with what we're currently watching and what we have watched in the past.
All the links are in the description. See you in the next one. Bye!